Welcome in, my beautiful builders. In today's episode, we're going to be taking this empty interior and turn it into this, and this, and last but not least, finish off all of the bedrooms. Let's get into it. So this episode is going to be a bit of an interesting one because usually whenever I consider making builds, I mostly think about the exterior. I think about making things pretty from the outside so that when we look at them when walking around our world, everything looks absolutely gorgeous. However, for this survival kingdom, I actually want to do the interiors as well. So as you go exploring around your world, you can actually come inside of these buildings and have something really, cute to look at. And I think that this is going to be something I want to do for most of the world. So that's what we're going to tackle today. Today, we're going to tackle the interior of the inn that we built in the last episode. So first things first, let's go over some general rules for making interiors, because yes, there are, in a sense, a few rules whenever you make the interior of a build, because you really don't want something that is a massive open space like this. That doesn't feel like the interior of any building. It doesn't feel like your home. It doesn't feel like an inn or anything like that. It just feels empty. So the very first thing that you want to do for the inside of all of your builds is break it up. Break it up into floors, break it up into rooms, break it up into staircases, break it up however you want to, but you just want to have things in smaller sections that you can actually work with. So, for instance, I'm actually going to put in a floor for this level here. This is where we actually enter into the building. So this is going to be one floor of our build. And then down here where we plan on putting the tavern, that's going to be another floor of the build. And we also need to section this off. So I am going to come out with some half slabs and I'm just going to bring this to right here. And this is going to be where our roof line is for this little section. And we'll get some stairs to fill in right there. So we'll have a bit of a transition between this area, but that's okay. That'll work. And it also lets us still be able to look out of these windows. All right, so that is already a lot better, and we are still going to divvy this up into more rooms later on. But just having a solid floor in here already makes this feel a lot better. It's just confining our space a little bit more and makes the whole area feel a little bit more comfy. Another area that we're going to want to do that to is this. This is just way too much. It's too big of an area. We're going to want to break that up. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add in another floor by adding in a staircase here for us to go up. So we're just going to do something a little bit like this, like so, and then a stair here. And then I think I should be able to just come across with some planks like this. And we can add in another floor on this level. And then maybe what we'll do, just to line up with these beams, we'll come up with some more stairs like this. And then we'll fill in the rest just like so. And this also gives us access to this balcony out here. So that'll work. That'll definitely work. And that'll break up this huge area of open space as well. All right, so now that I have this floor in, this third floor, I noticed that the entranceway, it needs a bit of a transition. These blocks are very hard. It's a very hard edge that doesn't look very good. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take out these blocks and I'm just going to do some upside down stairs just like that to give us a little bit of a transition. And I probably should even do this over here. However, I think that wall is actually going to extend down, that white concrete, to here. So maybe I just leave that out for now. I think that may actually work out a bit better. I don't know. We'll have to see. I need to go grab some white concrete in order to try that out. So once you have your floors laid out how you want them, you want to come around and look for weird gaps that don't make any sense. For instance, this doesn't make any sense. Let's go ahead and fill that in with white concrete, and we probably have some more that don't make a lot of sense around here. For instance, around those windows, probably doesn't make a lot of sense. This gap that's in between these windows probably doesn't make a lot of sense, so we probably want to fill all the way up to the top of the roof line up here. But this is essentially what you want to do. Anything that, you know, kind of feels a little bit weird, you want to go ahead and fill all of that in. So maybe like above here, we probably want to fill in, and just make sure that your walls are at least a little bit flat. So something like this, fill all of this in. That way you have a nice flat wall to work with. So for this particular building, I ended up with a total of 4 floors. I have this floor, which is much more open and spacious, but this is going to be our tavern or our bar, which normally would be a lot more open. So that actually makes sense for this. Now, once we go up into the actual end portion of our build, things are a little bit more closed off, or at least will be eventually. This is a very open area for right now, but we're going to section this off into actual rooms here in a minute. But this is our second floor, and then if we go ahead and we come up these stairs, we have our third floor, and then up these stairs here, we have our fourth floor, which is probably going to end up being much more like a loft. So our floors are separated. Now, how do we do an interior? Well, this is the next rule. Any 3x3 areas need something. So in other words, if you have an area that is this big, there needs to be something in this area. That is how you're going to make a very nice interior. This is your rule of thumb. Just put something to break up any 3x3 area. And trust me, that sounds really intimidating whenever you first hear it, but it's actually not that bad after you do a little bit of practice. So this is the very first room of our inn, and as you can tell, there is no section of this entire area in which we have a 3x3 space not covered. We have paintings on the walls to cover some area. We have item frames with a little bit of a half slab in them and a redstone torch rather than a regular torch. The reason I'm going with redstone torches here is so that we can keep the atmosphere down by a lot. I don't want it to be super bright in here because it's supposed to be a tavern, so we want it to be a little bit moody. So that works perfectly. We have a tore up rug that gets a lot of traffic, so it's really in shambles on the floor, breaking up that 3x3 all across the floor. We do have a bit of a 3x3 here, and maybe I should add something there in the future, but so many little details that you can add, whether it's the mugs on the table or the plates with the food on them. There's a lot that you can do, and as you practice more and more and you get more ideas, doing interiors will become a lot easier. For instance, I'm about to do this bar, and I'm not entirely sure how it's going to turn out, but I have some pretty good ideas, such as, you know, adding in a spruce trap door that'll allow us to get back here. And then toward the back, we probably want to have barrels of some sort that can actually hold, you know, wine or ale or whatever it is these people drink. So just think about little things that you can add into each area that obviously fit your theme, but also can just fill in 3x3 spaces. So for instance, with this bar area, we have ourselves some cups, we have ourselves a little bit of counter space to keep more cups behind the bar, we have ourselves some smokers for them to cook the bread and the pork chops that we're serving to people. We have ourselves a brewing stand, which could be useful for making some mixed drinks or something like that. We got ourselves some barrels at the back for the kegs of ale or wine or beer or whatever it is these guys drink. And then we also have ourselves a cauldron that they can use to wash their hands or something like that. Also have ourselves a little bit of a trap door here, just so that they have a little bit of counter space if they need it. Another thing that we could do here is actually put in a hand towel. I just thought about this. What we can actually do is remove this, and I think I can do a stair. Will that work? Yeah, there we go. Now I actually have a little bit of a hand towel for these guys to use after they wash their hands at the cauldron. Absolutely perfect. It's the little details, the little things. Also, not everything has to be these big features like a huge long table or something like that. You can also set up just a simple scaffolding with a pressure plate on top and 2 stairs as seats, and that looks good. It's simple, but it works, especially for such a small, tight space like this. Once again, no 3x3 areas, so, I mean, technically we're good here, based off our own rules. So the next idea that I had was a map. If an adventurer comes into this tavern, he may have never been to this city before, so a map could be extremely useful to him to know how to get around and where he's at. So I thought that would be a nice little piece, and then over toward the fireplace, I actually decided to put in a bit of a lounge area, something that you can, throw up some privacy if you need to, or maybe you need to talk to somebody like, "Oh, I want to see the boss." No, you can't see the boss because he's busy talking business with important people, or I don't know. I'm just making things up. But a little lounge area that you can close off for a bit of privacy and also have access to the fire. Around back, I also added in a nice little log area, so there is a place to refuel the fire. So just grab some logs from here, throw it on the fire, bada bing, bada boom, you're good to go. So a nice little lounge area where maybe a boss is, maybe he served his drinks. Maybe the bartender comes from back here and goes, excuse me, Mr. Boss Person, do you need another drink? And boom, there you go, lounge area, love it. Okay, so leaving the tavern and heading into the actual inn. And this area we're going to need to break up even more so that we actually have multiple rooms for people to book. But the first thing that I had an idea for is a front desk, somewhere for some type of receptionist to sit in order to take money and, book people rooms and stuff. So I got a painting of what looks like a guy laying down in a bed. So I thought that was actually pretty interesting, so I put that up there. And then I have a couple of bookcases for, maybe she has her ledgers and stuff, a cartography table that has this little piece of paper looking texture on it, so I figured that was nice and useful. Some type of desk pad here and a nice little potted plant. Nothing major, but you can actually enter from the staircase as well, so kind of a employee only entrance in that area. So that's our very first thing. And now once a person leaves from the front desk, we need to have rooms, lots and lots of rooms for people to book. So my general idea here is down this entire way in this whole room, I think that we should divide it up into multiple rooms. So maybe one room here, and then one room here, and then do the exact same thing on the other side. As for this area back here, I think this should be like a suite, a much larger room that people can book that has a nice view out on the rest of the city. Whereas these rooms, they're going to be a little bit smaller, but they're going to have a nice view of the port. So that's my idea here for this floor. We just got to divide it up now. So the first section that I really wanted to tackle was the main suite, because this gives me a little bit more room to play around with ideas before I start compacting it down into these much, much smaller rooms. So inside of this suite, I went a little bit overboard, kind of. I've made it as nice as I possibly could, because this is where I would think the captain of a ship or something would stay. So we have a nice bed with a big headboard and kind of a little stepping area to get into the bed. Have a nice rug on the floor. Got some potted plants and a windowsill to look out of. Got ourselves a place to hang up armor. A nice little barrel to store some goods or something like that he keeps on him. Got ourselves a nice towel in case he needs to dry off. And we also got a little closet here. I also tried to keep the lighting in these rooms kind of dark, so we only have a single light source, which is this lantern here. So if I go ahead and remove that, it is completely dark in here. I mean, it's daytime, so we're getting some light in, but at nighttime, this is completely dark. If we go ahead and put that lantern in, now we have the room lit up. So my idea here is whenever somebody gets in bed, they would want easy access to the lantern to be able to turn out the lights to go to sleep. So that was kind of my idea here, and I think that this suite came out looking pretty good. I do. And I wanted to show all of this on camera, but I mean, I'm just going to be honest with you guys. Making interiors is something that I struggle with to begin with, and making them on camera, it's a lot of, oh, this would be a good idea, but I don't have the stuff, so let's run back over to my base and then come back, and it's a pain. I suck at talking about interiors, so I'm just kind of doing them, and I'm going to ask for your guys' forgiveness. I'm not a good commentator whenever it comes to interiors. I apologize. Okay, so for these rooms, it's going to be pretty tight. So my idea here is that these rooms are extremely small because they are for the crew members, which means these guys probably are mostly workers on the ships, and they're not going to have a lot of money. Not like the suite, not like the captain of the ship would have. So these are basically going to be very, very bare bones rooms. I'm still going to try and make them as nice as I possibly can, but basically a bed, a couple of shelves, and maybe a painting on the wall, and that's going to be it. I'm going to try and keep these as bare bones as possible. However, these rooms do have a good amount of headspace, so I may could even do some bunk beds or something like that in some of these rooms. Could work out nice in order to just fit some more people. So let's see what I can come up with. I am a little bit concerned about my lack of room, especially on like these huge flat walls. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do here yet, but yeah, I'll have to figure something out. So with how tight this hall is, I think this is going to be the best I can do. So I went ahead and I ran some spruce fences all the way down the spine of the building, and then I just hung down a couple more fences and some lanterns. Now, I may come back and change out these fences for chains later on, but for right now, I think that this works. I also got some banners to kind of alternate on each side to give a little bit something different to look at toward the top. And then I have buttons above the doors. I have a sign with the room number on them. And overall, it's simple, but whenever you only have a 1 block gap to work with, I mean, there's not a whole lot that you can do, right? So now I'm going to start working on the rooms themselves. And yeah, we really don't have a lot of room to work with here, so we're going to have to be creative. Okay, so I've done a few of these interiors now, and I have to say, the rooms are coming out looking pretty good. But I do actually want to attempt to do one of these on camera because, there's a few things that I've learned. There's definitely a few things that I've learned by doing this. So let's take room number 5 here, and let's just try to make some type of nice room for someone to stay in. So first things first, I'm going to remove the torch, and I'm going to place a bed and get a nightstand in. So for this nightstand, I'm just going to do 2 upside down stairs like that, and then I'm going to get a lantern like so. Now, what I'm doing whenever I'm thinking about doing all of these interiors is, first off, we need to cover up those 3x3 spaces, but I'm also trying to think of little things in a room that a person would want, kind of amenities that people would expect in a inn. So something that I would expect would be something like a towel, a little hand towel or something hanging down just for use of, wiping things off like your armor or something like that. A complimentary towel would be good for a room like this. Another thing would be something like an armor stand or a coat rack, something to hang some of your clothes on or some of your armor on. Something like that is always good. Also, storage. Storage is usually something that comes in pretty much every hotel or anything like that. So I like to put this above the bed just because I think it looks nice. And we'll put a barrel on top up here if I can. There we go. And we'll get a little flower pot or something next to that just to add another little small detail. Maybe we'll do a bamboo here. Yeah, bamboo will look nice. Okay, so that's, kind of where we start. And then we can also get in some rugs on the floor just to give us something else to do. In fact, I may, just because this is a little bit of a bigger room, I may actually do slab here, slab there, and then that covers up more of the floor, and then we can do a little bit of a bigger carpet. Maybe we'll do the carpet something like that. So there we go. We have a decent enough interior, but we need to go even further. So let's go up this wall a little bit. And where are my trapdoors? Here. Let's go ahead and put, I don't know, maybe 2 trapdoors like this. And I would like to get a bookshelf into this room in particular. So maybe, do we want to put this on the shelf? I don't know. That may be a little bit weird. Maybe we'll put the bookshelf here. Will that work? I think that'll work. We definitely need something on this wall, though. I definitely want a shelf or something like that on this wall, because right now it's very plain. So maybe a shelf up here with a potted plant on it, and we'll put a spruce sapling in it. Yeah, I mean, that works. That works. Not bad. Let's go ahead and put a button above the door to break up a little bit more over here. And then on this wall, we'll just do like a decorative painting or something like that. Something just to fill this gap in. So get a painting that I like, hopefully. That one's not bad. Where's the spider one? I like the spider one for these rooms. They actually fit pretty well with the outside texture, but doesn't look like I'm going to get lucky here. Spider? Please? Of course not. Hey, there we go. Finally got it. But that's it. That's basically how I've been doing these interiors. Just get a bed down, build around it, and then find small things that I can add to the room to make it a little bit more interesting. I'm just trying to cover up the 3x3 areas so we don't have any in the rooms. And I mean, overall, that method works out pretty good. I mean, everything looks nice and clean in those rooms. So let's do one like this that actually has some windows to it, because this one is actually a little bit more difficult. So let's go back over here and let's make a bed first, because I don't actually have another one on me. In fact, I also don't have any wool. So let's head to this barrel, grab out some wool. Do I need anything else for this? I may want another bookshelf in this room, so may bring that along with me. And apart from that, I think I'm probably good. Let me sleep away the night real quick. That way we can see inside this room a little bit better as we're working. And let's make a bed. Let's make a bed real quick. Let's get a couple of planks. White bed. Beautiful. Okay, head back to the room. All right, so let's go ahead and place the bed in this corner, because the reason I'm placing it in this corner is if I try and place it on this wall, putting in a nightstand is going to block the windows. If I put a nightstand here, I'm going to block that window from the outside. If I put a nightstand on either side here, I'm going to block the window. Same thing here. So instead, I put it against this wall, and I think that works out pretty good. So now we're going to get an upside down stair like so, and maybe this time I do a trap door like that. Go ahead and put a lantern in, and I can remove the torch. And now is where we get a little bit more decorative. Let's go with maybe a bookshelf in the corner here. And in between these windows, I actually forget what I did. Maybe we can go back and look at this first room that I did. Did I do anything between the windows? Oh, I hung a full towel. A full towel. That's actually a good idea. Maybe we'll do the gray this time, though, instead of doing the orange. Yeah, that looks good. Now let's go ahead, and since this is a bigger room, let's go ahead and get in some slabs just to kind of shape the bed a little bit more. And then we'll get some carpet just to kind of cover up some of this that's going on the floor. That looks a lot better in my opinion. Okay, so now we need an armor stand somewhere. So maybe this area would be a good place for that, since we have a little bit of extra room on the back side of this door. So that'll work good for that. And then we're going to want some shelves somewhere. So, oh, I'm actually running out of trapdoors. Let's go grab some of these. By the way, this is why building interiors is so hard for me, because I realize as I'm doing them that I'm running out of materials, and I run out of materials very quickly, and I have to do a lot of running back and forth. So yeah, commentating this stuff is not the easiest, but again, above the bed, this is a great place to add a barrel in. So just something like this, and then a bit of a flower pot on the side of that. And we'll do a spruce sapling this time. That'll be nice and easy. And then maybe above this bookcase, we can do another painting. Paintings are so nice for filling in an area. Now, we do have a couple of big areas up here that need something in them. First off, button above the door so that we can get in and out. And what do we want to do up here? We could just do another shelf of some sort, so maybe just something like that. And we can put in another flower pot, maybe another lantern. I think a flower pot could work good here. We'll put bamboo in it instead. I think that looks nice. And I would like something that's on this trapdoor. Maybe we just do a barrel, but we face it towards us instead. That way it's a different texture if you're looking from this angle. Not that you would ever really be looking up when you enter into these rooms, but just something to where whenever you're looking from the outside, flying by or something, you have something that's in this area. But, I mean, overall, easy peasy, right? Easy peasy. This is not a super hard interior to do. It's just, you know, getting into a rhythm of doing them. But I think that turned out looking pretty nice. So back at the front desk, looking at suite number 1, and we need to do something with the transition to getting upstairs. And I kind of thought of a lounge area because this really wouldn't fit with adding in more rooms, but maybe a commons area of some sort to transition to upstairs. So I went ahead and added in some bookshelves, added in some type of painting here, a lantern, a little flower pot, another bookshelf, and then I also hung some banners from the wall, put more bookshelves up high up on the wall, and then over here is kind of a little lounge area with some seating and maybe an area for them to do, you know, some writing. Maybe they're planning out their next adventure on this cartography table or something like that. More books for some research and a nice little plant in the corner just as a little touch. And that was my goal here. And I also swapped over to dark oak to give more of a lounge feel, kind of almost like a cigar lounge or something like that in this area. And I think that it works out pretty good. Just a slight change in color, but yeah, nice little lounge area before we head upstairs to the last 2 suites. And this suite in particular, suite number 2, may end up being the hardest suite that we have to do because there is a lot of windows to deal with here. There is a lot of viewing toward the outside, and that's going to make for designing this area a lot tougher because we don't want to block any of the windows. So I'm going to have to really think about this one. I'm thinking bed right here in the corner just because we have a little bit of room, but at the same time, I'm not entirely sure that I'm going to like that. I think that this may end up feeling weird whenever we come into the room. That, oh, I don't see a bed. Oh, it's stuck over here in the corner. That may feel weird. So maybe I have to go front and center with this one, and we just make this one, I don't know, extremely grand somehow. I think this one's going to be a struggle. I do. I think this entire room is going to be a struggle. Okay, so for this room, you're going to have to hear me out, okay? What if there is a sailor, right, that comes into port and they are carrying a princess or their daughter or something like that, and she needs her own room? Boom! A beautiful, elegant room for a woman, a princess or a daughter or something like that. This is not the typical grungy room that we've been doing. It's much more elegant, and I like it. It's got a little closet over here where the armor stand or coat rack is actually put away. A little bit of a shelf up here that she could use. Got ourselves a makeup area, right? Look at me, all the natural light. Hey, my fiance would be so proud. And then I have a little mirror over here in the corner and some windows with, you know, just some bushes and plants and stuff. I like it. I think it came out looking pretty good. It was a hard room to come up with a design for, but I feel like we nailed it. And you know, since we did some type of princess room, I think it would only be fitting to do some kind of kids room. And I think that this actually looks pretty good. I mean, it's got a closet for them to share. It's got a poster of some karate kid fighting a hand. I think that's kind of a Smash Brothers reference there, but I mean, still pretty cool. And then maybe a little monster or something like that on the wall from one of their storybooks. And overall, I think it's nice. A nice little kid's room. Something that you would see in an inn, maybe. I don't know. This was just an idea that I had since we did the princess room. Something a little bit different. Something that maybe the sailors wouldn't stay in, but something that maybe the captain's kids may stay in. So, I don't know. I liked it. I thought this was a cool idea. And that is it for the interior of this building. Actually, I should probably change out this. If that was supposed to be like a kid's poster, this painting up here probably needs to be changed out. Let's see if we can find something else that will fit up here real quick. There we go. That works out much better. All right, so let's go ahead and let's do one last quick walkthrough of the entire inn. And man, this was a bit of a struggle. I didn't realize how long it's been since I've done interiors, but I mean, overall, I do think that this came out pretty good. But it's definitely something that I need to practice more. I haven't done interiors in so long that I did struggle with this. I did struggle with this quite a bit. And while I think all of this came out looking okay, there's probably a lot more that I could learn just to, you know, make this entire process a lot easier for our future builds. And yeah, this is something that I really want to do. This is something that I really want to do moving forward is continue working on interiors for all of our builds. Just make sure that everything looks nice whenever we are done touching it. And I mean, this is one of those builds that I think it came out looking nice. I mean, it's not the best interior I've ever seen, but I mean, this was a good idea. The princess room. I like this. I really do. I think that was a great idea. And last but not least, the kids' room. Oh, man. But before we wrap up for today, I did have something that happened before this video that was pretty cool, and I want to show you guys. So, let's roll that footage. Well, hello there. Oh, snap! Oh, no! No! I thought that it was just one. I thought it was just one skeleton horse. Oh, okay. All right. I don't have any arrows. I just wanted a skeletal horse buddy. Go away. Aha! Skeletal horse, will you be my buddy? Please? Okay, let me go kill all of your friends first. Hold on. I got some stuff to take care of. You, go away. Go away. Yes! Okay, can you be my friend? Do I have to tame these guys? I don't know if I have to tame these guys. Maybe they're already tamed. Oh, this is so cool. I did not plan on starting the episode like this, by the way. All right, there we go. Safe and sound. And there we go, my beautiful builders. Wrapping up this episode with a couple of creepy new friends. I'm not gonna lie, they're a little bit scary, but nevertheless, they are now ours, and we have some cool things that we can actually do with those dudes in the future, so I'm kind of looking forward to it. But anyway, that is going to be where I wrap up for today's episode. And if you did enjoy this one, be sure to leave it a like, because interiors, they kind of notoriously do bad on YouTube, and I see why. This was a struggle for me to even commentate on, much less to build. So, yeah, if you did enjoy it, be sure to leave a like, and we'll continue doing these interiors in the future. But anyway, that's going to be it for me today. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. You guys have a great day.